Well, Jake Berry, by the way, I'm Greg Selber. That's Jake Berry over there. Interesting first week of high school football in the Valley. We had a little bit of a weather issue.
Yeah, we did. Pretty much every game started late, minus a couple over there in Cameron County, but everything started late, and it was telling for some teams.
Well, you know, the biggest problem was, I suppose, we have 5 or 6 teams on the Red Cross list here. Got some injuries in the first week. We're putting points on the curve together here in the first half of the season. No district yet. We really don't quite know what's going to happen in the next 4 or 5 weeks. But I can tell you this, if you're trying to make a top 10 poll, how many of our teams lost? 6 out of 10. Okay, the professionals have spoken, yes.
Yeah, it was a difficult week. I mean, there were some teams. Port Isabel, let me tell you, I was wrong. I don't know.
I'll be like Fonzie on Happy Days. We were.
It was very hard, but yeah, I mean, they played well against Greer. So, I mean, a lot of teams surprised us this week.
Well, surprises, and although I would say this, after the first week, nothing can really truly be that big a surprise because we didn't know anything going in. Now we know a little bit more. We'll know a little bit more each week. Well, let's do this, man. I've been going over geography with my students at Pan American. By the way, I was going to ask you on camera here. You know what the capital of Liberia is, by chance?
Liberia.
Yeah. Monrovia. It's all right. But so
okay, that wasn't what I was going to say either.
Yeah, no, I think that's it. Yeah. If it's not, then email us. But so what I want to do here this week on the show is start geographically and take each region, because we don't have a district right now. We're going to go around town like Johnny Cash here. Want to start in McAllen. What are your impressions of those teams the first week?
Well, the 2 teams that we thought were at the top of the pack in 36A.
So much a 2-team race, and Rowe said, "We not won."
Yeah,
they are now.
and Rowe came. Man, they came out firing against that Cal.
Lead 48-28. First off, you know, those are 2 tough ball games for those McAllen schools. I guess Permian's better than we thought.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to finish in last place. Close to last.
You know, they held them. I think Freddie had some plays, but they didn't run very well and didn't throw downfield. Okay, so you get back to work. Here's my note on McAllen. Keep doing that. Keep playing teams from out of the Valley. Most Valley teams need to do that. We'll take a licking every now and then, but you know what? Next year we can give them a licking. We just have to establish ourselves, and I don't think it's a poor move at all. They didn't play that great, but they'll come back this week against Edinburgh High.
And it's a good thing too, because at least you're getting your players acclimated to that kind of pressure.
That's right.
You know, because eventually, once you make it to the 3rd, 4th round, you're going to play that team.
Guys will be there. Now, Mission Vets takes off on the trip of a lifetime. We'll get to them when we talk about the missionary. Memorial, that battle against Sherryland never materialized, I guess. 59-28. That's a blowout, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there were some big plays by Trevor Spates, and but the team had a lot of fumbles. Had some injury problems. You know, they never got it going. And Sherryland was kicking on all cylinders.
Well, and here's what they do. They do this every year. Okay, they had 14 points and they hadn't run a snap yet. They had a kid run a fumble for a touchdown, and they had King Cole run the kickoff back for a touchdown. That guy was blazing, man.
Yeah, and he was so fast that he was going past Lendez on that run. So look, the he's a burner. He's going to go to college for track, but it's nice to have a weapon like that on kick return.
Well, last year was a crowded house, but this year they need him, and guess what? Through week 1, dude has shown up big time. And of course, they bring in a quarterback number 74, and he's incredible. Cesar Chapa does all the right things. Yeah. I mean, it just gives you more and more versatility as an offense. 59-28. Now, Memorial comes back with a pretty difficult game against the Economides Jaguars. They were 1-0. They beat Hannah the other day.
Yeah, and Economides showed a lot in that game because they went down against Hannah.
Yeah, they did.
The normal, back before Coach Pena, they kind of would have folded. Going down that low, those points. But
and no, they didn't this time. We're going to talk a little bit more about them when we get to Edinburgh. But now let's jump back to Rowe.
Yeah.
Great effort against that couch over there. That's pretty amazing. Now, who do they got next?
They've got Mercedes, which is a very interesting topic because their defensive coordinator, Rowe, their new defensive coordinator is Coach Mike Uribe, formerly of Mercedes. So he's got some familiarity with that program.
Boy, they better be ready to tackle if you're Mercedes. And boy, David Alvarado had 15 against Cal Allen. They had their moments, Cal Allen had about 270 yards. Of course, they had a bunch of quarterbacks hurt. So it was a decent effort by Mercedes. They would have liked to get on the board, I think.
Yeah, they held it at zeros for a while, and Cal Allen went up 7, and then kind of started picking away, started getting drives going, and that was about it.
Well, that's a harder match than Permian was for Mac High. So I mean, you can't hang your hat on whether this season's going to be good or bad because of that effort. We'll see more about Mercedes against Rowe though, because Rowe gets up and down the field. Jose Chavez is a guy that he was good in the scrimmage when I saw him. He went up and down the field this time. And what can you say about Bosquez? He's the latest, greatest quarterback under Coach Paul.
Yeah, and one thing about Coach Reyes is this. When he was an offensive coordinator at McAllen, at Mercedes, and at Rowe, he only had 1 year, his first year at Rowe, where he didn't have a quarterback in either the MVP or first team all district.
His system and his teaching, along with that of his staff, develops the skill players like crazy. So you're going to have to score to beat Rowe. I think Mercedes can score. I know they got 0 this time, but don't be surprised if they get in the 30s. Although the Rowe defense did a pretty good job against that cat.
Yeah, it's a new defense. They're a lot more. They're like their coach, a lot more fiery, more energetic. They're flying at the ball right now.
Well, it was a bad style matchup, too, for Ed Cats, the more I thought about it, because that's a physical team with an interior line, young skill players. Well, the Rowe skill players, they're relatively unknown, but they're not that new, and so they played very well, and Ed Cats did not, I guess, in the main. Although John Hernandez caught 6 passes. We're going to talk about Ed Cats after a while.
Yeah.
But that's the McAllen group. Now let's go way down south to Brownsville. You know, I'm over here touting the Brownsville teams, and they still may be very good, but for the first week, only one team in town won.
And which team was that?
It was St. Joe with a freshman quarterback, Mr. Money, Kai Money. What I want to know is he related to Philip Money, the Edinburgh quarterback from the 70s? Somebody let me know, because he's said to be living on the island, so maybe there's a connection there. But he had 379 and 5 touchdowns. Other than that, nothing. They beat Raymondville, I think it was 38-34. A barn burner, indeed.
But yeah, in the other Brownsville schools, I mean, look, they put up some points.
They were competitive.
Porter had a tough game against Progresso. There was a turnover late that cost them the game. But you know, Hannah played well.
Hannah was ahead. Hannah was up 13-0 against the Equanimous. They blocked a punt, which is always nice to do. They got a little tired, and they don't have a lot of depth, but I saw a lot of nice things to like from Hannah.
And Vets was up against Donna, but Donna, if you haven't seen their line, look, they lost to Monte Bono. Some people kind of got mad at one of my tweets saying that I was impressed with what they did, because it was a big obstacle to lose your quarterback that close to the beginning of the season. Yeah. But their line is so big that they're going to be able.
It's a big old mean down the line, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like economies. They're gonna pound you and pound you and pound you, and in the fourth quarter, that's their game.
The Jags are amazing, man. They run that dive or that trap, and they look like they got nothing. They got 6. Yeah. They got 8. They got 4. They got 3. They very seldom get stopped for losses. All right. I saw Pace. I saw Hannah on Thursday. There's some things going on there. Pace also looked very good. They were ahead of Vela until the end of the first half, whereupon Vela pulled off an amazing fake field goal, touchdown pass, and then went on to blow them out in the second half. Both Hannah and Pace showed things. I think veterans showed things. Like you said, Porter had a tough outing. So did Lopez. Who does that leave?
Rivera.
Well, they played a pretty good East team.
Yeah.
But they're up 14-0.
Yeah,
you had a 14-0 lead. That's not bad.
And just like economies, just like all the teams that are bruising, running teams, you know, it's 4 quarters with them. Right. Eventually, and
they don't flinch.
Yeah, and when you got Westico's hidden weapon from La Villa,
I'm telling you. Plus, that other kid, Angel, ran 79 yards. But I think Angel Florida's maybe 79 yards for a touchdown. They just find backs. I'll tell you this: the Brownsville schools should not despair, because they all played well at certain stretches. They have to finish. They have to play 4 quarters. The old Bromide playing 4 quarters, but I saw Hannah and Pace both had some hitters on defense. I was not unimpressed with those teams.
Yeah, I think, you know, if they can just put the full 4 quarters in, they're going to win. They're going to win some games. Now, that district is harder than we thought, though.
Oh, gee, yeah, I'll tell you, when we get there, it's going to be nuts. Rivera is at North on Thursday. North came back from the dead against Los Fresnos, 19-0 and won. That's a tough match on the road. Hannah's got Mission. Mission played veterans tough, so I expect Hannah Mission to be a good ball game.
Yeah, I do too, because what Mission did this weekend was eye-awakening.
7-6 in the fourth before they lost. Pace against Pioneer. 1-0 Pioneer, the Diamondbacks, right?
Yeah, and they came back, put 21 points up on the board.
Yeah, Kid Garcia had 100 yards, I think.
Yeah. And they're now, and I'm going to give them credit on this. They've got some studs coming up, and they've kept them all together, and they're in the sub-varsity level. And
so get them now.
Yeah, well, they're grooming them, but they're letting these seniors that would have never, you know, that would have had a hard time to play at Cherry Lynn, get their moment, and they're playing.
But 1-0, as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty good. Brownsville Veterans got PSJ North, one of the surprise teams of the week. They will not go 0-10. They may just be in contention. The Raiders look good against the Bears. They shut them down.
It's amazing. Their defense played well, and their offense put up those 2 late
3 interceptions against Castañeda. Of course, Christian Sanchez, and we're going to get to them PSJ in a minute, but only 18 tackles and 2 sacks. That guy, I'm telling you, he's the best player in the Valley in my book. And then finally, Lopez against PSJ Southwest. Lopez looked poor. PSJ Southwest ran the crap out of the ball. Can I say that on here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Because 42-0 against Valley View. So realistically, I still like the quarterbacks. From what I saw from Hannah and Pace, Cisneros for pace is a good quarterback. He's not going to beat you by going 80 yards with the run, but he's a very accurate passer. And that kid Andy Lopez, man, for Hannah, he's a junior. He's a good player.
Kid throws a great out route.
Yeah, he does. Long ball, yeah.
He hits the receiver.
And what else does he do, which we love? He's a kicker and a punter, and it's incredible. And if he could snap it, hold it, and kick it, he probably would. I love Andy Lopez. Only a junior, they say. Yeah. Oh, that's Brownsville. We've done McAllen. Let's take a quick break on the show. I hope you're able to follow us because we're barely able to follow each other. Break.